Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Following the video I did yesterday of the page that I made for Angela Kerr, I've had one or two requests to show how I make these little mini origami envelope boxes. This is one I made yesterday following the video using just some botanical book page, and these are a couple that I made a while ago. This one using just normal book page from a smaller book, and I did a strip of paper to make a belly band closure, and you'll recognize the heart on top because I also did one of those on Angela Kerr's page, and it's just several pages of book page cut out in the shape of a heart, stitched together with a bit of lace and a vintage button and some crochet cotton. This one was the first one I ever made. Let me pop that one to one side. And again, very similar, just the book page made into a belly band. Same thing, same heart with inked and stitched. And then I just put a couple of little tabs underneath, and then a couple of strips of book page just to give a pop of colour. Again, this one's made of book pages. Inside I made a little vellum envelope with some wildflower seeds in and a couple of little hearts at the end of my cotton, machine cotton. I used the envelope from the seed packet to create a bottom, which I've glued into the bottom of this one just to add a bit of interest and colour. And then on the back I just popped on a little image of some wildflowers, and that was to go in a journal, but it was to go to a foreign country, and I wasn't sure if I could send the seeds, so it never got included. So it just sits on my desk. Well, not on my desk, in my my stash. So okay, I thought I would do a quick tutorial and show you how I make these. The only thing I would say is that when I looked on YouTube originally, most of them required a square sheet of paper to make one of these. Well, I don't actually make mine with a square piece. I make mine with a rectangular piece, and this is a piece that I've just pulled out of one of my books, the Illustrated Flora of Great Britain and Europe, I think it is, or Northern Europe. So it's just a page I've ripped out and I just smoothed off the edge with a guillotine. So let's get cracking. The first thing you need to do is fold it in half. Now, the only thing I would say about these origami boxes, envelope boxes, is you've got to be as precise as you can be with your folding. So the first thing we do, let me see if I can just zoom you out a little bit. There we go, that might help, I think. Okay, so as I say, be as accurate as you can with your folding. So that's your first fold, and then you open it up and fold it the other way. So I am putting my glasses on and off here, so please bear with me. I'll try and get these as accurate as I can. You don't have to use a bone folder, but I find it helps because you want nice crisp creases. Okay, so we've folded it in both directions. We've folded it lengthwise and widthwise. So what I would suggest now is you fold it again along the same lines so that you have your page folded in half with the crease along the top. Okay, now you will know from how you folded it that one side will have a mountain fold and the other side will have a valley fold here. The only thing I would suggest to you is to make life a little bit easier for yourself. Have it so that you have the valley fold facing up and your crease along the top. Okay, so it's like that, and it will fold nice and easily that way. And actually what you can do, again to make life easier, sorry, maybe I should have mentioned this, is just reinforce the crease so that you have it folded in four. Okay, so open it up again, and as I say, you want the opening at the bottom, the crease along the top, and your valley fold. Now what you want to do is you want to take this corner and fold it down that edge down there. Now normally I would just pinch my nail in that top corner and fold it down, but as you know, I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to put a ruler in there along that fold, that crease, sorry, and make my fold. And it will just make life a little bit easier. And then you want to do the same with the other side. So you're taking this point and you're folding it down to meet this point. And what I would say is you want to get that as accurate as possible. So I'm going to just faff for a minute or two to get that folded nicely. Okay, so now you have something that looks like that, okay, and an opening at the bottom, so it should look like that. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to invert this fold here, and likewise on this side. So I find the easiest way to do it is to open your page up, and you will have a crease. Let's try and point from this center point here down there, and that will naturally want to fold in like so. Okay, you will also find that you now have a crease from this point straight down here, and you just want to ease that over so that it wants to fold out like that, and you will then find that you can just bring that other piece back in, so it will look like this. Okay, if it's easier for you, just force it the flap open and just push this in. Some people prefer to do it that way, and push it in, and then it should just fold back on itself. So either way, I prefer to do it the first way, but some people prefer to do it the other way. Just make sure your creases are nicely burnished. Okay, so what you have now is like a little marquee that looks like that from the top with a nice point here, and then from the bottom it'll look like that. Okay, so have your point pointing away from you and your opening at the bottom. Now what you want to do is you want to take this first flap here and you want to fold it into this line down here, or this crease. So taking this edge, I'm going to put my ruler back in there along that crease and just fold it in to meet the crease. And burnish. And then you want to do the same on the other side with this flap. Okay, and just fold it in to meet that crease and burnish. What you should have is a nice point here where these two that you've just folded in meet along that crease. Okay, and I'm just going to adjust my last fold because it's not good enough for me, I'm afraid. So you have that on one side. Now flip it over completely, and you're doing the same on the other side. just take your time getting these creases right, because what I found making these envelope boxes are that sometimes they come out absolutely perfectly, but other times, frustratingly, they're just slightly off and the boxes don't open and close nicely. So what you have now is, again, point at the top and something that looks like that from underneath. So again, still with the point pointing upwards. What you want to do is you want to fold this point down to this point here. So this point down to here. And it will naturally fold straight across here. And again, what I would normally do is I would normally put my nail along that crease and fold it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ruler. And you should find that it folds really beautifully into that space. If I hold it closed. Okay. You want to make sure that this crease is nicely burnished. Okay. And then just open it out again. Okay. Now we're just going to do our handles. So you have a line of paper going along here. So take your first flap, this flap here, and you want to fold it back along that line of paper. So again, I'm going to put my ruler on it. And I'm just going to push it back like so. So you're doing that crease. Okay. And burnish. Now what you want to do, oh, and now, sorry, I've just got Bishop coming out of his little, stay there now, come on, get down, darling, get down, Bishop, get down. So we've just folded this flap here, so you want to do the same on the other side. Okay, so that you have something that looks like that. That should be pointed. Something that looks like that. So we're almost there now. So what I do now is this piece that you've just folded, take this edge and fold it into that crease line. Okay, so effectively you're folding the flap that you've just made in half. Okay, so it looks like that. So the same on the other side. There's my flap here. And I'm just going to fold this edge back down into that crease. Okay. Now, this is where you have a couple of options on how you finish your handles. As you can see, I've got a triangle on that one. I've got a straight edge on this one. And I've got a slightly beveled edge on this one. If you want your handle to look like this, then you don't need to do any more, because those creases that you've just done will form your handle and will give you that straight edge, the same as this one. If you want your handle to have a point like this, then these flaps, you need to take that point and fold it along that crease line. So instead of folding it like so, you're folding it triangular from the bottom and triangular from the bottom, like that one. Okay, so you can see the difference there by however you decide to do your fold. You may well find that if your paper is wider than my paper was, that you will get this effect when you do your fold. Or you can actually create that look by just doing that, like so. So you have options for how you want it to look, and I'm going to go for this triangular pointed edge. So as I say, when you've done your flap like so, hope this is not confusing you now. So when you've folded back your flap like that, instead of folding it in half again, this time take that point, fold it along that same crease line, take the bottom corner again, do the same but fold it up along that crease line, and it will give you that look. Okay, so just to finalize your box, and this is where it does come a little bit tricky, all you do is you pull your handles gently apart and tease it open. So your point is now, if I can open that up, your point is now at the bottom. Everything's going wrong. Don't panic, don't panic. Okay, so your crease, your point actually opens up to give you your box shape. So what you need to do now is very gently, I'm just going to reinforce that fold because it's not wanting to sit nicely for me. I'm just going to do the other side as well. Okay. So now what you want to do is you just want to gently reinforce. Bishop, stay there, darling. Stay there. Stay there. You just want to gently reinforce the creases along the bottom. Stay there. Good boy. Lie down. Lie down. Good boy. Good boy. That's it. Thank you, darling. And you just need to take your time doing this. Do it very gently. There we go. And the same when you want to close it. So the first couple of times when you close it, you are just going to be gently easing it into place, and you will get a little bit of resistance along this fold line here. So you just, by teasing it, you're actually creating a crease along there and there, just very, very gently, which will help it fold. So you're just very gently teasing it in. It will go, just be gentle with it. And as I say, this is where it just takes a little bit of gentle persuasion, and eventually you just get to the point where you might have to pop your bone folder in to just help that last bit of creasing in there, but it will come. And this is where your accuracy with your folding comes into play, because if you're not accurate and take your time with your folds, you'll not get it to meet or work inside. And there we go. There we go. As I say, please just take your time with creating that fold inside. Just be gentle with it. It will come, And I mean, even now I'm still having to work it a little bit with my bone folder inside, but it will come. And there we have it. So really, really simple. If you decide that you don't like this triangular look, alter how you fold your flap. Really easy to get the straight edge if that's what you prefer. There we go. So we have an option like that, an option like that. If you are not popping it in a pocket like I did with Angela Kerr's one, what you can do is create, as I say, one of these belly bands, and I can't remember which one went on which. You can create a little belly band like this to go round them, and all you need to do is, I don't think I've got another scrap of paper here, all you need to do, if you bear with me, I could probably show you with this, is just cut off a thin strip, and all I did was fold it over to the width that I wanted my belly band to be a couple of times, like so. Obviously you would do this a lot neater. I then cut it off along the edge. So this is nicely glued, and all I did was I measured round my envelope box so that I could get the two ends to meet. Now you can either do a finish where your edges are butted together, like so, and then make your flowers and make your closure and just glue on both sides, or you can actually do it so that it's slightly overlapped and glued, and then put your flower on top, or your heart on top, or whatever you want to decorate your closure with. Or you could just leave it plain like that and put that join to the back of your box and just have it plain, so that it is just a band on top without any decoration like this. So there's loads of options. You could perhaps tie it with some linen thread. You could leave it as it is. You could even put those, I think I call them salary closures. You know, when you get these salary or wage envelopes and you get those little circles either with brads or eyelets, and you wrap the thread round. You could even do that on these, because once you've got that, I would probably glue mine. What I did with the one for Angela Kerr is I actually thinned this inner flap down and this one so that it was less bulky, and then glued it down so that it was permanently closed, and it couldn't unravel. They won't unravel, but I wanted to cut down on the amount of bulk. But if you wanted to do one of those salary envelope closures, it would be so easy to put a brad through there or an eyelet and create that as a closure, and just wrap your thread round, or even wrap it round completely all the way round it. So that's my very quick tutorial. I hope you could follow that and I didn't lose you when I came to do the flaps. If you've got any questions, please, as always, I'm happy to answer any. And thank you very much for watching. Take care, everybody. Love you loads. Bye bye.